Right. I was going through a tough time. We had a rough go there for a couple of months. We got through it, and you know, life's a lot better now. It's just a part of life. It's just stuff that people go through in their daily lives. You know, we all have lives outside of these reptiles, these animals that we keep. And with that being said, you know, sometimes life takes over, and that's definitely what happened to us. But we made it through it. We're happy to be here. We're excited about the future of CA, and it's all on the upward rise right now.
I want to say, out of all due respect to Daniel, because a lot of people don't understand, you know, when life's good in some people's situations, they could get animals, they could do whatever the fuck they want. And then when life hits them, they don't know what to do with all that shit. You know what I mean? And it go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to say it is. It's when life happens, it's unexpectedly, and it's, you know, something that's out of our control. And, you know, a lot of times we don't prepare for life, you know. So when it comes in, it kicks you in the balls and it takes you down hard.
And that's what that war talk comes in with these animals. Like, that's why a lot of shit could be war with the animals, depending on depending how your life is. Like, and life is never easy, bro. I'm telling you, right? Like, fuck.
When you get kicked in the balls, those animals don't care. They still have to be fed. They still have to be bred. The rodents have to be taken care of. It doesn't matter if you're down, up. It doesn't matter. Because that machine never stops. And when you get to a large scale, that is a machine that you are feeding constantly.
Yeah, man. I hear you. I hear you. And, you know, and honestly, the machine only goes as hard as you go, right? So it's like,
and one person can only do so much every day. I mean, I've got a lot of help around me. I've got great friends. I've got a great family. Britt helps me out. My kids are getting old enough to where they're starting to help me out a lot too. And we're still trying to keep up.
Is that Britt behind you? Can we say hi to her? Is that her?
That's her.
Hi, Britt.
Hi.
So this is obviously the other half of Constriction Addiction right here. Britt in the building.
Come here.
Hi, Britt. Say hi.
Hi.
All right. How are you? I'm glad you're here.
How are you?
Doing good. Doing good. I'm loving to catch up with you guys right now. This is great. This is good stuff.
Yeah. So Britt puts in a lot of work with us. Like I said, my kids they're getting old enough now. They're in that fun age where I can really start doing stuff with them, so they can help here with the work to try to free up some free time to be able to do some cool things with them too. So it's working really well.
I'm curious, since Britt's, you know, brought up in the picture right now, I want to know, like, you know, you and Britt go far, how back? Like, how far back do you and Britt go?
Before reptiles.
Before the reptiles, okay? So this is pre-reptiles, you and Britt.
Going on 18 years. Britt's the reason I'm into reptiles.
Oh, wow, I love it. Okay, now the reason...
Oh, good.
No, I want to hear it. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
When I met Britt, she had a pet ball python.
Oh, man. So it literally started with Britt.
It started with Britt, yeah.
Oh,
so
wow.
Bless her heart. Python. I started going to pet stores, trying to find every different kind of snake I could find.
Oh, he was hooked after reptile shows.
Went to the first reptile show, and I was done, dude. I was done. That's all I've done ever since.
Now, was it both agreed upon when it became a decision to make it a business, or was it you wanting to do it and she just went with the flow, or like whose idea was what when it came to the business side of things?
We both loved it, man, and it just grew from a passion into a business, and we just never looked back. We never said, hey, we're going to take this and make it a business. It didn't really get super serious till after my dad died. When he died, I was working for actually another company, and I had to basically quit my job there and come home. And that's when it got serious as a business for us. But other than that, we've never really took off and said, hey, we're going to make this a business and make a go at it.
Right. Okay. Well, and the reason why I asked that, Daniel, is because, like, for me, it's in the beginning, it was all about, man, this is awesome. Like, this is a fun thing to do. And it's fun. Don't get me wrong. But now I see the business side of things. Like, I'm seeing what I can do with the hatchlings I'm holding back and, just, the beginning stages of things. And my wife's a lot smarter business wise than I am. You know what I mean? So I'm like, this is the year I'm bringing her in. Like, she's coming in on this with me now. And I'm hopefully bringing her in is what sharpens my tools when it comes to the business side of things. Because I mean, I could sell shit, right? But she's just an organizer, like very, very organized. And me, I'm all over the place. So I could need the help for sure.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Britta is too. She does all my labels for me, all my clutch records. So she handles all that for me. I'm just too dysfunctional. I want to pay attention. I want to pay attention to my animals, you know, and make sure that life's good with them. I want to do what I can with them to the utmost that I can grow them and make sure they're healthy and that everything's guaranteed.
Right.
So I spend a lot of my time with the animals, and I let her do a lot of that stuff.
Right. Okay. Now that we're talking about the animals, let's get in talking about your 2021 season. I've talked a lot recently about how late of a year it's been for most people like myself, but how's it been for you? I know you said you dialed back quite a bit, or your plan was to dial back last time we spoke. So how's that been for you going into the 2021 season? How are your production looking and whatnot? If we could talk about that.
Production's good. It's one of those things where it could always be worse. It could always be better. Production's good, but the thing about my production is everything I have in the incubator is great stuff. And that's what I wanted because of the workload and everything that was on me at the time. I've been gradually downsizing my collection over the last 3 years. Like I said, that one year we did 287 clutches, and it was just me and Britt. I mean, we worked ourselves to death, dude. I mean, it was unreal. And so, and I had nobody to wholesale to. I was stuck. So I have gradually downsized my collection to the same thing that we're all doing right now. What Ozzy preaches and everybody preaches, a small, potent collection. So you're not killing yourself, man, because that workload is it's unreal. It can consume you very quickly. I've always said it's easier to replace tubs than it is to sell tubs. So what I mean by that is it's easier to fill that tub with an animal than it is to sell that animal. That is the truth.
That makes a lot of sense. And that is so true, because you could easily get that tub filled. It's easy to do. That's an easy thing.
You've always got a wall of holdbacks ready to go in that tub. There's something there waiting to replace that tub, no matter what it is. I'm not saying it's hard to sell animals by any means, but what I'm saying is there's always something on that wall that's ready for that tub.
That's so true. I haven't heard more true words in a long time than that, because that's very true. And a lot of people don't see that until it's too late. You know what I mean? And they're like, "Fuck," you know.
Right. I did that. I was the worst about that. I would not sell a female to save my life. That's how I ended up with 287 clutches. I would not sell a female. To me, it didn't make sense. She produces every year. She produces 10 eggs every year. It didn't make sense to that. But I had to come to realization that, it was time to upgrade, especially when I started downsizing. I had to start thinking about my time and my work effort and where it went and what it went into. So that's the only thing we've been doing for the last couple of years, is refocusing on the collection and making sure that we're producing better, cleaner stuff. Selective. I'm still strong with selective breeding. When we first started, selective breeding was a thing. Now it's just seemed to fall. It seems to have fallen by the wayside. And with me being a green tree python guy when I started,
right.
I was built on selective breeding. You know what I mean? Like that, I was built on that. So we still do that here. We still practice that here. And so we're always trying to find the highest quality and the best examples of mutations that are out there, and to put it in our collection. I would rather pay more for something that is the best example of that mutation that I can find than to pay a little less for something that's B grade or a little bit less to go in my collection.
I mean, you keep B grade, you sell B grade. That's just how it goes.
Agreed.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And
it's up, and nothing wrong with B grade. And we're not saying, oh, B grade, it's up to you what you want to have in your rack, but don't expect to be getting A grade prices for B grade products.
Right. And there's a place for everything in this market. There's a place for top quality. There's a place for wholesale. There's a place for mass production. There's a place for everywhere, for everyone in this industry. It's just, where do you want to be? That's just where it falls down to. Where do you want to be?
Now,
So,
has it always been selective for you, or was it more mass production at some point, Daniel? Like, and I'm talking about any time of your career.
well, it's all been selective breeding, but the year that we did 287 clutches, I noticed that my selective breeding went down. I was not able to focus as much on the animals in my selective breeding as I would like to. When it starts getting messy, you either don't have enough manpower, or basically you have too many animals, and then it starts getting messy. When it starts getting messy, that's when stuff starts falling apart, stuff starts falling through the cracks, and that's not good business practices for anybody.
No, I mean, it's not good for your mental health or anything else, period. Like, that's just that has effects not only in your projects, but that trickles into your life. You know what I mean? Which we were talking about earlier. We all have lives, right? So
right. And luckily, when we did that, it was 4 years ago. Luckily, when we did that, we handled it, but it was so stressful. It was so stressful, just day in and day out, just grinding. We had no life. All we did was animals from the time we got up till the time we went to bed, and that was no fun for everybody. And doing it like that, you'll get burnt out very, very quickly. You'll get tired of keeping your head inside a snake tub 24 hours a day. We were working 7 days a week, all day long. And it burns you out. We had kids at the time, and it was not at the time. We still have kids, by the way. But what I'm saying is we had a life that, there for, I would say, probably a year or two really got neglected because the business grew so much. And we just, between me and Britt, that goes back to what I'm saying, one person can only do so much.
yeah, and that's the thing, man. If you're not really paying attention to what it is that you can handle workload wise, it's just not a good situation when you don't know what to do with all these animals. Because here's the thing, what happens, and this is, and I haven't been in this for too long, Daniel, but I do know a lot of people who've been in this for a long time. And I've unfortunately have seen some of these people who've loved these animals so much at one point who don't seem to love them as much anymore. And it's fucked up. And nothing against them, but they have overworked themselves so hard that there's these little things that they just don't see as an animal keeper, to where, someone who isn't as overworked sees it and says, well, why do they keep it like that? But they just don't see it because they're so overworked. And what happens is the animal gets neglected.